قبل مشاهدة هذا الفيديو لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة وتفعيل زر الجرس. ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. فالليلة مع مستر يوسف. He's a teacher of teaching English language, and what I think about him, like, he's a good teacher. And right now we come to here to know about him, to know about how he can give to the students and how he can make the student to be better. And first of all, I have first question for you. Like, you can introduce yourself to, because this is a channel, because we want to know about you.
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Yousif Barsi.
Yeah.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
From America. I have a Sudanese background, obviously, and that's why I'm here in Sudan.
Yeah.
I came to the ADC about 6 weeks ago. I began as a teacher. I'm still a new teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm finding it to be a very fulfilling, rewarding experience. Learning, I see so many students with so much passion for the English language and a thirst to learn it. So I'm incredibly blessed to be put in a position to help them all out.
Okay. In the term, like, if you're a teacher, and you see, like, this language is the language of the world, and even in here, like, we consider as the language of the world. Do you think, like, if we, like, student learn English, like, can help them in the future, like, when they learn this language, like, when he become perfect or fluent speaker?
Yeah, I think so. You have so many young students here that come in from so many levels, and in my short time here, I've seen steady improvement. I've seen steady improvement from a lot of the students here, and I'm grateful to be a contributor to that. Now, the other thing that encourages me, and to answer your question, better yet, to answer your question, is learning English. It is because it's the language of the world. It's the language of business. And a lot of Sudanese youth are looking to travel outside of Sudan. They're looking to be better professionals, even inside of Sudan. Better doctors, better lawyers, better engineers, better even, just lower level staff level, support level workers. So learning English is essential, and the way the ADC teaches it through discussion, I think it's very unique from other institutions. So there's a great benefit of learning English at the ADC. Yes.
If they come in here, like, they can learn the language by easy way, or they have some stuff in here, like, ADC provide to them, like, it can make them to learn English language by easy way.
Well, I wanna clear that up. There's no really easy way to learn a language. When English is not your first language, in the beginning it can be very difficult. However, the ADC does have great tools to assist in that process. Particularly the discussion club, because you have a lot of students who haven't registered for classes. They just come and listen, and then they try to talk and speak and engage with other fellow other fellow members in the discussion group. So really, to say that the ADC provides an easy way, I think it's the best way, because I don't know the easy way, but I'm sure it's the best way, because you combine discussion with classroom, with classroom application. So I think it maximizes the effect on the student, because now the student is not just reading out of a book conceptually, they're actually applying their English and talking with classmates. And the whole campus is really geared around that. So again, to answer your question, I don't think it's the easy way we have, it's the best way.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
I think some people in here, they face difficulty to learn English language. And many of them, they face it like they do not have vocabulary, and many of them, they do not good at grammar. What advice you can give to those people they faces this problem of grammar, presentation, and even some people, they have fear, like, to present themselves in front of the people. How they can solve all of this problem? As a teacher, what's the thing, like, you give it to the students if they want to solve those problems, grammar, to present themselves, to face the fear, or a lot of things?
Well, there's a lot to that question, so I'm going to do my best to unpack it. When you're speaking about grammar and speaking and writing, a lot of those issues can be solved in the classroom, but it takes time, right? So a student has to be dedicated to learning English. And the problem is if you have a very busy schedule, sometimes it makes it hard to maybe get to the discussion club, maybe to do homework from classes. And all of those little things help, believe it or not. My advice to all my students is to stay engaged as much as possible. You know, that's why I give out homework assignments every night, homework assignments that force the student to write. And then we can figure out what's wrong with their grammar. Now, every student does struggle, right? Like,
Struggle learning.
Right. So it's a new language, and I consider them all babies in the new language, right? But the great thing about being a baby is the babies constantly learn, right? So there's no fast way to learn a language. I mean, to speed up the process, you would have to probably live in that country, right? Live in an English-speaking country or whatever language that you're trying to find out. When it comes to presenting themselves and having this fear, some people just naturally have a fear of speaking in front of people. And then when you combine it with a language that's not theirs, it can make it a little bit more difficult to express themselves and that sort of thing. But I think with confidence, as confidence grows, people want to talk more and engage more, and that helps a lot. So I think the discussion club in itself is a good thing because it's a room full of people. A lot of times you don't know the people in the room. And because you don't know the people in the room, it can be a little intimidating. But then after a while, when you find out everybody's just like you, everybody's trying to learn the same way you're trying to learn, it kind of helps calm the anxiety a little bit of speaking in front of people. But as far as grammar, writing, reading, and speaking fluently, all of those things take practice, and it takes time. And it does take the dedication. So again, like I said, I try to give my students, the option. Well, not try to give them the option. I give them a lot of homework. Also, I suggest to them to watch English television and radio, listen to English radio as well, because all of those things help. Yeah, because the one thing I tell all my students is, once you leave me from the classroom and you walk outside, you're only going to have Arabic. Right. There's no more, the English kind of stops, right? So the student has to make the decision to engage as much as they can, whether that's listening to the radio, watching TV, reading a book, or reading books that interest them. And I think that may speed up the process.
This is the problem in here, Sudanese people, they face it, because it's true, like, in the class they can speak English, but after they go, they leave the center or they leave, the place they learn English, they just speak Arabic.
Exactly.
Because it's a problem, because if you do not adapt yourself to speak English, even outside, even in here, you do not put yourself in here, I should just speak in English. Even outside you can speak. And this is a lot of students, when they come, they speak Arabic outside. I think it's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem because that lowers your engagement, right? And then let's just say a student has some circumstances and he can't get back to the school, or maybe he's a month or 2 or 3 months away from the school because of personal reasons, then the lack of practice is going to catch up with him. Right now you got to go back all over again and relearn things that you've already learned. So it's really important to have the engagement until these things stick in your head, So that's the key thing, I think, for me.
Some people, they want to give up, if they cannot speak English, or the way they learn English, it doesn't go in the way they want, because if some people, they spend 1 year, after that they just quit. But do you think a person he quit or give up, it's the option for him to give up?
Well, giving up is always an option. It's probably not a good option because everybody learns a little differently, right? And I think the frustration comes when you have high expectations for yourself and those things don't work out the way you think they will, right? So it's about adjusting and just accepting the reality that this isn't your first language. So you're going to have to spend the time. You're going to have to spend the energy getting to learn the language. And again, you can't, realistically, you can't walk into a class, 3 times a week so 6 hours a week, 3 times a week, 2 hours, and expect to be a scholar, an English scholar after that. It takes a lot of time. So so the classroom is important, but even outside of the classroom is even more important. I think more important outside. Why? Because you have you have so many things against you trying to learn English, right? It's so easy to just talk to somebody in Arabic, right? And when you have that and you can just talk to somebody in Arabic and then you pick up the English later, it becomes a problem. So I say that you have to, it just goes back to what I'm saying about being engaged and involved, constantly engaged in English. Reading along on YouTube with short stories, even watching the news, listening to radio, reading books. So all of those things help. It's not just one thing. It's going to be a combination of all of those things that help enhance the language.
Okay. This is like 3 or 4 questions. This is a short question.
Sure.
It's about how you can, if you want to describe English language, how you can describe it as well. If you want to describe just English language, how you can describe it.
So I would describe the English language as ubiquitous. So meaning that it is spoken around the world, right? I mean, can you think of a country right now that you can go to where somebody doesn't speak English?
Everywhere you go, you'll find people speak English.
Right? So it's widespread, and it's important for everybody to have. So to describe it, it's essential. If I have to describe it, it's ubiquitous, it's essential, and it's very important for people to have it, especially if you're looking to work outside your country. And even the people that work inside of Sudan and have no intention of leaving the country, they have to still learn English because your hand is forced here. If you're a doctor here in Sudan and you can't, read the medicines that you're giving to people, it's a problem. Or if you're an engineer who gets plans to build something or design something, if you don't have English, you're going to be stuck. Even regular employees, and I'm talking about at banks, at supermarkets, you need some level of English. Yeah, you need some level of English at least. I mean, even if it's very basic, intermediary English.
Even university.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because a lot of universities here in Sudan have English curriculums. Being that Sudan was colonized by the British, the influence of English here is just absolutely incredible. So to describe the English language, it's essential. It's essential.
Yeah. If you can describe, if the best moment for you, like as a Yousif, what's the best moment for you, like happened for you in your life? The best moment.
Okay, so I had a few moments. I don't know what
the best one.
The
like
best
you can
one?
give me the best one for you.
For me, okay, so the best moment in my life, I have to say, is when I became a father. Yeah, when I became a father in 2017, when my daughter was born. I think that was the best moment of my life because I've had a lot of jobs in my life, but the best job that I've been given is being a father. So that's
the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
When a person like have a child, like he would become so happy.
Oh man, it's incredible. It's so much joy to see somebody that looks like you, that acts like you. And then you can see your future in that person, in that young child. Yeah, and then so much potential in a child to grow and learn and be a contributing member to society. So that's really important too.
But the worst.
The worst moment for me. Oh wow, I've had some pretty bad moments. So I think everybody's had some pretty bad moments, but I think my worst moment came very recently when my father passed away. So that was, I accept, we all are going to pass away at some point, right? But, I mean, even knowing that reality, it doesn't make it easier. So losing my father, that was incredibly difficult. Yeah.
If you can describe Yousif in just one word, how you can describe yourself?
One word. Okay, let me think. One word that would describe me. Adjustable.
Adjustable.
Adjustable. I can adjust to situations. Well, adaptable. Let me just say adaptable is a better word. I can adapt to situations pretty quickly. You know, I don't need a whole lot of time to figure things out. I can learn things on the fly very quickly. And it's one of my biggest strengths is being adaptable and understanding the climate around me. So, yeah, adaptable.
And even like you come in here and you will be adaptable to situation because you said you come from Brooklyn.
I do.
Yeah, and even you adapt with Sudanese people. This is something amazing.
Yeah, I think, but the advantage that I have of being, I think that skill came from me being in Sudan as a young child. Because when I stayed in Sudan, I left my mother and my father in America when I was very young. I was 10, and I stayed here with my aunt and my grandmother for a very long time, for a couple of years. And I had to learn to adjust and adapt as a young child. So that skill of adaptability stayed with me even into my adulthood. So, you know, if things change, I can still, you know, adapt and adjust to what's going on. Even, you know, in my business life, I'm very adaptable. I'm very adaptable that way too. So I thank God for that skill. So if I had to describe myself in one word, adaptable.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
لا تنسوا الاعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة تشجيعا لنا لنستمر بنشر المزيد ان شاء الله.